just to give you an example of what 45 years looks like, 40 years, 40, and you guys are going to work more than 40 years, okay? 2,080 weeks, 10,400 days, 83,000 hours, okay? You got to love what you do. Don't pick a career because you can make a lot of money or because it's glamorous or you think it's really exciting or all those kind of things. Don't believe anything you see on television, please, okay? CSI, celebrity chefs, all that stuff. You need to get out there, explore, look at it, and see if it's really a good fit for you. So don't pick a career based on that, please. The other thing I wanted to just touch on is you're learning great skills here. Maybe you're going to go right into the workforce. Maybe you're going to get some additional education. You also need to develop what are called your soft skills. So can you work in teams? Do you have leadership ability? What kind of writing and speaking skills do you need to do a job? These kind of skills, when finally developed, can be the difference between you getting that job and somebody else getting the job. So you need to work at those things. Kathy and I are both members of the Society for Human Resource Management, and they did some research and publicized it in their magazine recently. And employers cited the following things for reasons that people didn't advance in their careers: poor work ethic, failure to develop new skills, failure to enhance their visibility within the organization. So you want to get out there. You want to volunteer for things. They need somebody to do a new project. Volunteer. That's how you get ahead in life. And you need to seek promotion and promote yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're doing a good job and you're a hard worker, you need to point that out to your employer so that you're going to move up and advance. If they're not thinking about you, they're not going to think about you for that promotion. So you need to work hard. You have to continue learning for your whole life. If you're graduating in May or June and you're going to go right into the workforce, that doesn't mean you're done learning. You continue to learn. I continue to learn. I go to classes every couple of months. You have to, or you're not going to be successful because things change. Just in my own career, I've been working for about, after graduating from college for about 25 years or so. And when we started working, there was no email. There was no real internet that we used. I didn't use a computer for anything when I started my first job besides letters. Well, now I don't even write letters. I couldn't tell you the last time that I wrote a letter and signed it, put a stamp on it, and put it in the mail. Couldn't tell you. It's just the way business has changed. So if you're not continually learning those new skills, you're not going to be successful. So make sure you do that. Make your performance stand out. So you're going to stand out in the crowd so that you're going to be that person that gets promoted. And choose a career that has a pathway to other things. So say you're maybe interested in nursing, but you're not necessarily committed to going into a 4-year RN position, or is it 5 years now? It might be 5 years now. Maybe you want to become an LPN. Go through a short class at the Career and Tech Center, and then see how you like it. You like it, okay. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to become an RN. And maybe I'm going to keep working while I do that so I don't have a whole bunch of student loan debt, and keep working, get that, go on, become maybe a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner. So in a lot of careers, you can start here and then move your way up while you're working, or if you're going to be going to school full time. So explore those options, and that's what I'm going to show you here today. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has a wonderful website called Job Gateway, and I'm going to give you some instructions, written instructions on how you can register on Job Gateway. There's no cost to any of these things. Everything I'm going to show you is funded through your parents' tax dollars, and hopefully your tax dollars pretty soon, and is available to you at no cost. You can register on our website with just some basic information, and there's career tools that are available in here to help you explore where you want to go with your career. So I'm going to step over to here, and I'm going to have my back to you for some of it because I have to be on the computer to guide you through everything. And if anyone has any questions, you can just stop me as we go along, all right? Okay. All right. There we go. So this is our website, Job Gateway. And at any given time, there's a couple 100,000 jobs on here. And we'll circle back around and I'll show you how you can job search on, on here. But you would go to the website, jobgateway.pa.gov. And as a new person, you would click on register as a job seeker. And you just have to put in a little bit of information and you can get a login, set your password, and then you'll be good to go. But I'm going to sign in since I'm already registered. So I'm signed in here, and this is what's called my dashboard. So it's a way to keep yourself organized if you are job searching. You can use this website to look for a summer job that you might need for this summer. There's part-time jobs on here. We just started being able to list internships. So if you're looking for an internship now, or maybe once you're in college, you can use our website to look for internships. You do not have to be unemployed to use this. You can be looking for a career change. Maybe your parents might have a use for using this website. You can create a resume in Job Gateway, and it allows employers, if you click on this button, it would allow employers to find you. So maybe you have a job, but if the right thing came along, you might be interested in making a change. If you put your resume in here, an employer can find you. So they might be looking for somebody with particular skills or experience, and they would be able to find you. So you can look for jobs, or employers can find you in our system. This website also imports jobs posted on Monster, Indeed, all those big job boards that you hear about. So rather than having to go to 4 and 5 and 6 different websites to job search, you can just go to Job Gateway and it imports those websites in, so you have a one-stop website to look for jobs. But we're going to focus today on the career tools. So you can see here, free career services, and under there are career tools. And the first thing that I want to show you is how to explore careers. So we click on the career exploration button and go to PA Career Coach. And I have a little site map of all of this for you that we're going to pass out, so that hopefully after today you're going to create a login and you can follow the site map that I prepared to be able to go in and find these websites easily. So in the Career Coach, we're going to first look at a career assessment, and I want to put in here our zip code for Hazleton, and you'll see why later. All right. Okay. So we're going to first look at a career assessment. And you've probably done these before. And there's a lot of career assessments online that you can look at. My Next Move has a nice career assessment. I'm sure there's something that your guidance counselors use. But this is a career assessment, and it asks you a number of questions to determine where your skills and your likes and your dislikes lie, so that it can make some recommendations for careers for you. And the reason why this one is nice is because it's going to take you right into data regarding those careers. So even if you've done career assessments on other websites, you might want to try this one. It's real easy. You just click on Get Started, and it asks you a series of questions. So, and they're easy to answer because there's only 3 possible answers for every question. So do you like working independently? Yes, no, or unsure? And that's the answer to all the questions. So it takes you through 3 pages of questions. It's not going to take you more than 10 minutes to answer the questions. But I'm just going to scroll through them here. And once you answer all the questions, you hit See Results. And it'll show you what industries you have strong matches in, and then what industries you are not a good match for. And that's just as interesting as what's a good match for you, because you may think, oh, I'd love to do this. Well, if you answer the questions and it tells you it's a weak match for you, you maybe want to think twice about going into that industry. But we go on, and it will then give you a list of careers that might be a good fit for you. You can, in this case, because I answered all the questions as unsure, it gives me like 3 pages of careers. If you answered the questions specifically for you, it's probably not going to give you that many. But we'll leave it like this for now. And then if you wanted to, you could filter down based on high priority occupations. If you wanted to only focus on jobs where there is, which the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has determined there is going to be growth over the next few years in that occupation. So most of us want to go and get an education and training in something where there is going to be a job, and that's what those high priority occupations are. Every year, the Commonwealth determines the high priority occupations for each area in Pennsylvania. So I put in our zip code here, 18201. That will, if I clicked that button then, it will filter these jobs down below to only show me those high priority occupations. Same thing if you were just interested in jobs in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields, manufacturing, etc. So this is just a way to filter down those 3 pages of jobs a little bit more. Let's just choose licensed practical nurse, since that was the example that I brought up before. So we've taken the assessment. The assessment has determined that licensed practical nurse is a good fit for me. Let's learn a little bit about it, okay? So a licensed practical nurse, and you can see here, it's giving me information for the 18201 zip code. I know that's our zip code at the office. I'm not quite sure what your zip code is here, and within a 5-mile area. So it's showing you that the entry-level wage for a licensed practical nurse is $14.44 an hour, the median wage, and then the high wage of $23.22. Tells you that there's 1,753 LPN positions in that 18201, within 5 miles of 18201, and that they anticipate that there's going to be an increase of 8.7% over the next 4 years. So that's a position where there is going to be some growth. If you decided to get training to become an LPN, very good chance you're going to be able to find a job. 27% of those 1,753 LPNs are over the age of 55 and are probably, may be looking at retiring soon. It shows you the employment trends over a 6-year period. So it has been steadily increasing. It took a little dive there in 2014, but the projection looks very positive, as you can see, growing over the next couple of years. It also shows you some similar careers that you might want to take a look at. So that's kind of what we were talking about, those career pathways. All right, if I go and I become an LPN, where could I then continue my education to go into a higher skilled job? And it lists some of those there on the right-hand side. Talks a little bit about the skills that are needed for an LPN. So you have to look at that and examine yourself. And do I have those skills, and do I enjoy doing those types of tasks? It then shows you that there's 93 positions on our website for LPNs at this very moment, with 22 different companies and it lists the companies there for you. So everything you want to explore this career is right here in one place. You don't have to go from place to place, website to website. Everything you want is right here. It will show you, and I think I have to get my glasses. It'll show you where you can go to get training for this particular career. And if you clicked on any of these job postings, it will take you right back to Job Gateway, back to where we started, and you could actually look at the specific information for these jobs with these employers right here in Hazleton. So everything you need is right here to explore this type of job. Okay. The next thing we're going to look at are some videos regarding jobs. I know next on the agenda you're going to talk a little bit about job shadowing. And if you have that opportunity to go out into the workplace and actually shadow someone who's doing a job that you're interested in, by all means, take advantage of that opportunity. That's fantastic, and you may really determine based on that you love the job or that it's not for you. I know my own daughters, I shared with you, I have a daughter that's in your same boat there as a senior, and she doesn't really know what she wants to do. She knows what she doesn't want to do, which is she doesn't want to do what I do because she spent enough time in my office as a grade schooler. She'd have to come up once in a while. Not my job I have now, but the job I had before. I was a human resources director, and Mom, I know I don't want to do that. My God, it's boring. So it'll give you a good idea. So if you get that opportunity to go out and job shadow, please do it. But if you can't, we have the next best thing for you here on Job Gateway. So let me show you it. And I apologize, I have to keep logging back in, which I'm sure is just my technological challenges. So bear with me. So next in our career tools, we're going to look at career videos. And if anybody has an idea of what they want to do, I'd be happy to pull up a video if they have one on here for something you're interested in. Anyone want to volunteer? Okay, well, let's see. Accounting, that's what I'm talking to my daughter about. Very good. And that is on our high priority occupation list here for Luzerne, Schuylkill counties. So we're going into Career Central here, our virtual job shadow. And down the left-hand side here are all different industries that you can that they have videos for. So I think accounting would be under finance, yes? All right. Or it might be under business. Let me see. Nope. Okay. So let's look at, it has a controller. So let's look at this video. Close enough?
I think people are good accountants if they tend to see things as being black or white and not so much as gray. Because in accounting, there's always a right answer. You just have to find it. GM had sales last year of $185 billion. Every company issues financial statements which indicate its financial well-being, the money it's earned during the year. GM has over...
I'm sorry, there is a way to make this full screen, but for some reason I'm not seeing the option, so I apologize. I'll just leave it on like this. But you can make it the full screen. So let's start over so you can hear it.
I think people are good accountants if they tend to see things as being black or white and not so much as gray. Because in accounting, there's always a right answer. You just have to find it. GM had sales last year of $185 billion. Every company issues financial statements which indicate its financial well-being, the money it's earned during the year. GM has over 300 subsidiaries worldwide, 300 organizations worldwide as part of the GM family. The controller's department is responsible for taking all of the financial information for GM and we consolidate it. I think one of the stereotypes of finance people or accountants is that we are number crunchers or that you have to have a really strong math background or be heavily focused in math. And that's not true. I think math is as important to my job as it is to any job. I think you have to have a basic understanding of basic math, but I think it's more important to have good communication skills. You have to be heavily focused on your communication skills, your problem solving, your ability to listen to people and understand their problems and relate back to them an answer that you think suits their needs. Corrine, you look through the RMC presentation? I have that right here.
Yes, I did.
Anything weird? The other thing we do is we prepare projections of how we think the company is going to do in the future. So we would look at 1 year from now, 2 years from now, all the way through 5 years from now, and compare estimates of how we think our company is doing. There's a lot of conference calls. We talk overseas a lot. Usually in the morning, we'll have some conversations with our folks overseas in the Asia-Pacific region. Our office in the Asia-Pacific is in Singapore, so they're 12 hours ahead from us. So we like to talk to them either first thing in the morning or at the end of the day. We're very well compensated for what we do. We enjoy a lot of benefits. The interesting thing about being on this staff is you get to hear all the big transactions that the company's going to enter into. Any acquisitions or disposals, any of the current business decisions that the company makes. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. That was my undergrad degree. After that, I went to a Big 5 public accounting firm, and I worked there for 2.5 years and became a certified public accountant. I joined GM after that 2.5 years with the public accounting firm, and since then I have also acquired my master's in business administration. I think most people think that CPAs only do taxes, so I think that's a stereotype. We don't do anything with taxes. A lot of the work that we do is really analytical, and it's also very technically oriented. That's why we require the CPA certification. Some of the challenges are taking a 300-page document and really just doing a deep dive into it and being able to pull out the issues that only you need to focus on. Battling the stereotype issue, I think being an accountant is actually a pretty exciting job. From a business perspective, you get to see a lot of the current business issues that are affecting the corporation. You get to see a lot of the transactions that are proposed. From my perspective, I think that the work that I do and the actions that I take do have an impact on the organization as a whole. Everybody's very professional, very encouraging and supportive of your work and your decision making. I think wherever you work, it's important to work for people who have respect for you, respect for your ideas, and respect for you as a person. And I think GM has that.
So there, you learned something. Maybe the only time you really heard about what an accountant does is this time of year when your parents are saying, oh, I have to go to the accountant to do my taxes. And she just said she's a CPA and she never has done taxes. So there's a lot of other things you can do with that career. So these videos can give you those ideas. And then down below here, so this is the main video that we just saw. Down below, here are some questions that you might want to ask this person. So if you were out job shadowing, the person would probably give you an opportunity to ask some questions about the career. Well, here they have a series of questions. So how much money will you make? What credentials do you look for? What skills are essential? So let's hear the answer to that one.
I think you need to be a good listener. I think you need to have good written and oral communication skills. I think you need to be able to think a little bit creatively. And I think you need to work well with people around you, to challenge people in your organization at all levels of the organization.
So there's a series of questions there that you can go through. Then right from these videos, you can look at a description of the position. Here on the left-hand side, you can look at what is required in terms of the education, licensing, etc. This woman explained that she had a degree, but then she went on and became a CPA, and then she got her master's in business administration. You can, again, look at the earnings. This is showing us Pennsylvania earnings and then U.S. earnings. And again, we can drill down and get those numbers for the Hazleton area. We want to keep you here if at all possible. And as Kevin said earlier, right here in Hazleton in our Humboldt Industrial Park. There's fantastic jobs like this that pay very well. Again, you can see the future outlook and what kind of growth they expect for this job. And some additional links where you can go to school for it. And again, jobs and internships, that'll take you back to Job Gateway to Job Search. So if you have that opportunity to job shadow, absolutely take it. But if not, go here to Virtual Job Shadow. And there's hundreds of videos in here. Hopefully you can find something that you're interested in and take a really good look at it. Take your time, go through it, go through all the questions, and get more information regarding it. Okay? So you've done that assessment. You've gotten some ideas of what are interesting positions that would be a good fit for you. You've gone out into the workplace and job shadowed, or you've gone on here, Career Central, and looked at the videos. You've gone to school for it, or you're looking to go to school, and now you need to go on an interview. Either a job interview, maybe this summer you're going to get a job, you want to get an internship perhaps when you're in school, or you need to do an interview for college. Sometimes that is the case, even for freshmen that are applying maybe to an honors program, for a scholarship or something. And certainly if you're going to go on to any kind of advanced degree, there's always an interview associated with that. So I want to show you a wonderful tool to get ready to do those interviews. And I'm going to look for some volunteers. So let me see who think about volunteering for me. It will be. It'll be fun, I promise. Let me just give you an example. My first career, I was a human resources director for the city of Wilkes-Barre. I wrote grants to DEP so we could buy recycling trucks. I designed the city calendar a number of years. I did anything they needed somebody to do. And I lasted there for 21 years. I could still be there today if I wanted to, through 3 mayors. And any one of them could have just got rid of me. And why? Because I was willing to do whatever needed to be done, and I did very well there, and I retired at 45 years old. That's young, people. I know it sounds old to you. Am I right? Is it young? It's young. Doesn't happen. And that's because I was willing to work hard and do whatever needed to be done. And that's what you want to do if you want to get ahead, okay? So let's look at these interviews, and hopefully somebody will want to step up. Otherwise, you're going to have to look at me up there, okay? So there's a couple of ways that you can do this. We can just look at general questions, and you'll see there it says general. We can look at questions based on industry. So this young gentleman knows that he wants to go into accounting. We can look at some accounting questions. We can look at questions based on competencies. So the woman in the CPA was talking about analytical skills. We could get questions based on analytical skills. We can get questions for admissions. So if you are applying to like an honors program, you could take those questions for undergrad admissions. If you're going on to some type advanced degree, medical, law, etc., or you're doing an interview for graduate school. So you can use this. Or, and you know what I've used it for? Preparing for presentations like this. I used to just do it in my dining room mirror, but now I go on Job Gateway, I tape myself, and I go back and I look at myself to see how I'm doing. It works better than the mirror. So let's go back and let's look at those accounting questions. Okay. So here's the individual who's going to be interviewing me, and there I am. All right? He's going to ask me a question.
Why did you decide to pursue a career in accounting?
And then, after a 3-second delay, I have an opportunity to answer that question. You have up to 5 minutes. You can see here, you have up to 5 minutes to answer the question. And when you're satisfied with it, you press stop. You can then play it back.
I have an opportunity to answer that question. You have up to 5 minutes. You can.
Okay. Stop it. You're happy with that, you can press save. You're unhappy with it, you don't save it. You can go through a series of questions there.
What are the most challenging aspects of your job?
And so on and so forth. You can save them all. You can email them to your teacher, to your counselor, to Kathy, to your mother, your father. They can critique you. You can critique yourself. If you look here, I have a whole series of videos here. You can rate yourself. Other people can rate you. And you can get prepared for that big interview. So this is just a fantastic tool. I have a handout for you that talks about it and also has that QL code on it. You can just click on that. Everybody here has a smartphone, I'm sure. You can click on that. You can do it right on your phone if you wanted to practice this in your car, wherever you have Wi-Fi. So it's just a wonderful tool. Does anybody want to give it a try? All right, come on down here. What are you interested in? Music. All right, let me see if I can find anything on music. I don't. Okay, well here, this is. I would have known about this. I could have practiced instead of just talking to myself in a room. Okay. Okay.
Amber.
Okay, you get in there and I'll get it started.
And this will
Okay.
help you too if you go for an interview to always have some answers, in your back pocket.
Right.
And some questions you can ask then the employer.
Correct. And there is, I'll show you after Amber gives it a shot. There's some tools in here to help you build your answers. So if you're not quite sure how to answer a question, it walks you through that. There's a lot of great tools on here and to get you prepared. Okay, so you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Once she asks the question, then there's like a 3-second delay. So just hang on.
Okay.
I have to hit record when it happens. What's going on here?
Tell me about a time that you came up with a new approach to a problem.
I'm going to hit record and then you'll see it counts down.
I think that the best way to come up with a new approach to a problem is to just look at it from a different angle and try to see what everyone wants and try to incorporate that into solving the problem. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have to watch myself?
You don't have to. Let us watch it.
Okay.
I think that the best way to come up with a new approach to a problem is to just look at it from a different angle and try to see what everyone wants and try to incorporate that into solving the problem.
She did a good job, didn't she? Thanks, Amber. So from there, you can look at your body language. What were you do? Like me, I'm always with the hands. So really, I need to sit on them during an interview. Are you looking at the person who's doing the interview? Are you fidgeting? All those kind of things. And you can figure that all out in the privacy of your own home or here in the computer lab or wherever. You don't have to do it at the interview, which is exactly where you don't want to do it. Going over, let me just show you here. Again, there's a question library, so if you're interested, if you can't find that question or you don't want to go through like the 10 questions that are set up, but you want to pick individual questions, you can do that. You can get some help building those answers, so you're not sure how to answer the question. Go to that answer builder part, and that'll help you with that. There's some help with coaching. There's just a whole, you could be on here for days preparing for an interview. There's some just wonderful tools on here for you. So I'm going to give you some information about that, and I hope that you take some time to do that, and it might be something that they might do in some of your career development or career preparation classes or whatever. This just got rolled out within the last year through Job Gateway, so we're trying to get out to schools and let you know about it. I was up at Pittston area not too long ago, and I'm going to be speaking to guidance counselors throughout Luzerne County because we want them using these tools in the schools. We used to pay $10,000 a year for a service like this to do these mock interviews, and now they're available to the public for nothing. So really take advantage of them. So that's my presentation. I do have some handouts for you, and I'm here if you have any questions now or later on. Thank you.
Would have had something like this to help us figure out our way on our pathway instead of just kind of going out there and trying different things. And this is fantastic. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of this. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask Christine while she's here now, or get in touch with me. I can help you with this. Your guidance counselors. I know how busy they are, but take advantage of this, even if you're only using a part of it. And you're on the internet and your phones anyway, so it might take some time to go through, but it will be worth it for you to do that research and see if there's a career out there to help you figure out, yes, I want to do this, or no, I don't. I had a girl that I used to work with. I don't know if I told this story before, but I worked in human resources as well, and I don't know if you know what that is. That's like the personnel. We do the hiring and whatever else. Wear a bunch of different hats, but we hire people, we share benefit information with them, we have to fire people, we keep track of their attendance, but you're working with people all the time. That's your job. You don't get to sit in a corner and hide. And the girl that I worked with hated people, and she kept getting jobs in human resources, and she would move from she moved here from Massachusetts. She moved to Hazleton to work at a plant when they transferred here. Then she went back there and got another job in human resources. And then she decided she'd get a job in being a massage therapist. She hated touching people, and she hated people in general. She was hysterical, but she just did not want to be bothered. So the key element there was her. It wasn't the job, and she just kept trying different jobs in that area. But she needed to learn about herself. And she even said one day, I should just be in a corner in a cube on a computer by myself. So if you're not a people person, and or you like, even if you think you want to be a teacher, you have to be up all the time. You have to be in front of students talking. I knew another girl that I have a lot of these I should have did something else stories, right. But a girl that I went to Penn State with, she started out in business, then she got a job. She decided she was going to go back to school to be a teacher, because I think people think, well, I have summers off and it's fun and cool, but there's a lot of hard work to it. And she sold, she used all her savings, she got rid of her apartment, she moved back in with her parents when she was probably in her 30s. She went back to school for teaching, and when she had to do the student teaching part, when she had to go actually out there and stand up in front of the students all day and come up with a plan, like what am I going to say to these kids all day long? How am I going to teach them? She hated it. And so she didn't finish, she didn't graduate because she wasn't going to keep doing it. She spent all that money, so now she's broke, living with her parents, and trying to find something else to do. So that's why the job shadowing or doing this research ahead of time is so important. And it's so important for you to know yourself. Like if you love being in front of people, like what gets you like excited? Or like poor Sandra Silva, she hated people. I mean, but she, not that she hated them, but she didn't feel comfortable. Like she would never do this, like get up in front of somebody and just talk. So it's good to like notice these things about yourself now as you're going along. Sorry. I thought I could get away with it. But look, notice these things about yourself as you're going through every day. And that's why this is a wonderful tool for you to spend some time just seeing, you know, what is, if I wanted to be a nurse or an accountant, what does that entail? You know, is an accountant just sitting there like playing with numbers? No, you have to be able, which all the stuff they said about accountants, there's no accountants in here. All the stuff they said about accountants, like being people, person, and whatever, none of the accountants I have ever known have been that way. They're scared of the accountant. They're like, they are the numbers person, and you're, but you do have to be able to work with other people and communicate, you know, if you're an accountant, why, well, these numbers aren't working out. You know, you have to be able to communicate with somebody else, you know, why that's happening. So please take advantage of this tool. I know I start rambling once I get in front of a crowd, but this is a good segue into my job shadowing. I did have a couple, I know we offer job shadowing, and I am working on those of you that I haven't gotten back to. I am trying to get some job shadowing. The medical is very hard. The Lehigh Valley Health Network has changed their requirements for job shadowing, so we're not able to get students into any kind of medical facility right now because the state requirements, they have to treat you as a new employee and go through all kind of, you know, pre-hiring kinds of things. And I know there were a couple students that wanted to job shadow in vet offices, and the vets won't call me back. They must be very busy. So I'm still working on those. I did have a couple students, and they're actually here today that did some job shadowing. And look, they don't want to tell me about it. Now, come on. If you don't want to come up here, I'll just ask you some questions. But see, this is a good opportunity for you to expand your horizons and feel that fear and do it anyway. Come on. Come on. Come up together. All three of you. I know, Amber, you came to a meeting with me. The three, come on up. I'll coach you through it. You might as well do it now in this safe environment before you have to go out into the big old world. So Madison, we're going to keep talking into the microphone. Madison is in the cosmetology program here at the Career Center, and she spent some time with a salon owner. So Madison, what did you find out when you were with Stephanie at the Lush? She just bought that salon. She worked there, Stephanie did, and Madison spent some time there.
I think it kind of set like an outline of what I want to do in the beauty industry, because I do love makeup, and I think I would love to own my own salon and go to college for it. Yeah.
So do you mean go to college like for the business aspect of
Yeah.
managing the salon
Yeah.
too? Yeah, so there's two aspects. You found the different aspects to that. You're not just learning the cosmetology part, but also how to manage a business.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Katie. Katie went to Job Shadow. She's interested in art, and she went to Job Shadow, the art teacher who also is the anthropology teacher at MMI. We finally got her there, even though we had a lot of delays and bad weather. So, Katie, what did you find out when you were working with Mrs. Ferry?
They need to learn with multiple levels of students. You go from a 6th grade level to a 12th grade level, so you have to kind of like dumb it down for them.
Yeah, because they're not as advanced. So the art, did she work on any special projects that you got to see?
They were doing like, what was it? It was like under the table. Like he did a project that he actually did it under, like he had to draw upside down, and the kids were doing that.
Oh, well. So what was your favorite part of your day there, besides lunch?
Meeting all the kids and learning how to.
And how about, what do you think maybe you didn't like? That's something that was different that surprised you? How about her, did she talk about what she did when she went to school? I remember you saying she liked art, but she also got another degree, because sometimes it's not that easy to find an art position. Did she say that?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add? Okay. And Amber, I took Amber with me. She had said she has a variety of interests, because today she said music, and the other day we went to see an attorney. But that's good. You want to try different things. So we went to a luncheon where District Attorney Stephanie Salavantis spoke to a group of women in business. So what did you take away from that, or what was your experience? You got to meet her.
I think that in general, I was just in awe of how well she handled herself and how well she carries herself for a woman in a men's industry. And she's inspirational, honestly, and quite fabulous as well. Just want to add that in there. She's really pretty.
And she was very nice, and she did talk about, how it is to be a female in a man's, basically a man's profession. And Stephanie's actually, she's pretty young. She only worked at a law firm for 2 years before she ran for district attorney. So, and we got to get a picture taken, so we'll have to post that on our Facebook page. So, anything else you want to add?
I think that even though I might not go into law or be an attorney, I think it was just a good experience just to like meet people and get connections. So I think it's just good to get yourself out there.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. See, now that wasn't too bad, was it? You survived. So I am still working on the other job shadowing, and before you leave, I want to just touch base with a couple of you that I had put some feelers out for and see if anything came of that. As far as the rest of the agenda, I just wanted to mention we were supposed to do a Career Awareness Day for the 8th grade at Crestwood, but unfortunately it was canceled because there was a delay that day, so we're going to try to reschedule that for the spring. For the guidance counselors, there is a manufacturers roundtable. I thought I would mention this, and I sent an email to Mrs. Ernst. The Manufacturers Association, and is that in connection with the WIB? Because I got the email from...
I think we sent out the notification on Constant Contact.
Okay, for them. They're doing a roundtable with some leaders in the STEM industry, and it's going to be on Friday, March 20th at Top of the 80s. So I can forward that information to you, and I think I have some extra copies of the email, so I can give that to you if that's something that you're interested in, because they're going to talk about what kind of education is required in the STEM area. So that's a big thing. And we are going, that was the STEM roundtable. The other thing that we're working on, and we talked about it in our board meeting, is I'm going to work on putting together kind of a manufacturers roundtable for the guidance counselors from Weatherly, Crestwood, and Hazelton, and bring some manufacturers, local manufacturers, to you all, maybe five or six, so they can tell you what they are looking for. Because, I mean, our area it's manufacturing, and there are all kinds of jobs at all different levels, and I want to get them to share with you how you can educate the students and guide them and direct them. So we talked about that this morning, and we're looking at April 9th to do that, and Dr. Butler and Mr. Waite, and I'll get in touch with Mr. McLaughlin for Weatherly to coordinate all that. Let's see. Our next advisory committee meeting, and that'll be our last one of the year, is scheduled for Wednesday, May 13th. We have a location to be determined, and I'm trying to think of an exciting topic, something for you guys to wind up the year. I'm thinking maybe some speed networking. I don't know. Then give you a chance to put yourself out there, and we'll get maybe some business people in here, and you can see how you have to network and schmooze a little, shake hands, make eye contact, maybe make a little business card for yourselves. So that was my idea. So we'll see how that pans out. Because you have to get used to, I know it's so awkward, but you have to get used to putting yourself out there, even just a little bit. And every time you do it, it gets a little bit easier. But you have to stand out, especially when you're applying to colleges. I'm sure the competition is fierce, so you have to have something about you that stands out. So we're going to try to help you with that. So does anybody have any questions or comments, or students, do you have anything? Is there anything that you want to learn about, or anyone that you want to meet other than sports people? Because I don't know any sports people, and I don't know anybody in the music industry either. I'm trying. I know Tommy Bruno from Cartoon, and he has a local recording studio, but I don't know. Anything? You have my contact information. You guys can always email me, whatever I can do to help, okay? Do any of the employers that are here today, any of our business members, want to share anything with the students about anything that they heard today? Oh, I think Tracy. We are recording this, and it's going to be on Channel 99, so you can go back and see what the presentation was about and hear all of our thoughts.
So I do want to echo what they said. I am in industry. I do sit in college interviews. I'm an engineer myself, so I used to sit in with the engineering interviews. And everything that they said is true. I know that you're teachers, you're guidance counselors, and you listen to them all day long, and you think, yeah, what's the real world really like? And they're right. So showing up on time, speaking out is definitely important, so you just have to get comfortable doing that. Showing a good work ethic. I hate to say it, but your generation and my generation has a terrible reputation for not having a good work ethic, and I'd like to see that change. So please, by work ethic, we mean showing up, working hard, volunteering. Don't just show up at 8 o'clock and leave at 4:30 if those are your hours. Try really hard to stand out, and don't just do the bare minimum. That's what we mean by work ethic. And communication is really important. Your resume is really important. I'm sure you've heard this. I looked at a resume yesterday. It was so boring, so disorganized. There were so many typos. I would not want to hire that person. So just keep constantly going over and over your resume. I do that all the time for my own resume. I find little things all the time that I tweak on it. That's one of the first things that people see about you, so it's really important. I'm going to stop talking now.
What kind of an engineer?
I'm a chemical engineer, which is actually pretty interesting because I'm a community relations manager. So I've changed positions 5 times since I've been at UGI in the last 10 years. And not just because I'm not good at whatever job that I was in. I was actually really good at it. And UGI said, hey, yeah, wow, you're really good at this, and you worked really hard. Let's move you to something else and learn something else. So I was actually supervising accounting. So I was working with those accountants, and what you said was true. But I was an engineer, I was in accounting, I was in IT, I'm in community relations now. So once you go to college or another a 2-year or a technical school, get an education, get your foot in the door. People change jobs all the time. Just because you pick a career doesn't mean that you're going to stay in it. But it's really important to find something that you like to get your foot in the door, so that you like going to work and you like your job, so that you can move on.
On that, one of my brothers has a degree in accounting, and he went to work as an accountant for a construction company. And he hated it because he was in the office, he wasn't talking to people, he was dealing with numbers, and so he went to his employer, and they didn't want to lose him. And so what he does now is he actually is out on the kind of on the jobs, preparing the bids and all of that. So he's using his accounting skills, but he's more like a project manager. And he lives in Colorado. He's done some great projects where they've, put him up in Aspen and different places. He had to live in Aspen for 6 months and ski and do all these things that he loved and do his job because he needed to be at the job site, but he was using his accounting skills. So that's just an example of what you're saying. There's attorneys I know that are human resources directors. So just because you get a degree in one thing doesn't mean it can't go in another direction and use those skills for something else.
So we know what we're talking about because we've been there, and we want you to be successful. And we're trying to give you real life examples of things. And I just have one more thing that keeps going through my head. I have a nephew who's 22 years old, and he still hasn't decided what he wants to do. And he had a job. He's not from here, so I can talk about him, and he won't see this. But he had a job right when he got out of school. He went to the Career Center for auto mechanics, even though and then he decided he didn't like it, but he got a job, and he quit after one day because all he was going to do was be changing oil. And I tried to explain to him, when you start you're going to start in an entry-level position. I'm sure no matter what you go to school for or what your degree is, and you have to, like we shared, you have to work your way up. And show the employer that you are willing to step up and do whatever is asked of you, and that you're good at what you do. You're not going to go right in there and be the controller at GM. And that's what I tried to explain to him. I'm sure we all did. We all did like the dirty work when we first started. You just pitch in wherever they ask you. You're like, yeah, okay, I'll make a list. Yeah, I'll do the calendar. Take out the garbage. Okay, I'll do it. And then, that makes an impression. And eventually over time, it might be 2 months that a position opens, another position opens, and they recognize that you're that person that they want to stick around, and you're an asset to the company. Or it might take a little bit longer, but don't give up and don't be discouraged if you're starting it out at an entry-level position. So he won't listen to me, so I'm telling you guys, okay? So I guess, does anyone else have anything they want to add from business, guidance? No? Okay.
Students, I'll keep this brief, but we concluded some interviews for teaching positions just a matter of 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I want to share with you the 3 simple things that Dave mentioned to you this morning. Number 1, speak with confidence. Number 2, make good eye contact. And number 3, show passion for the job for which you're interviewing. We hired an inexperienced candidate over much more experienced candidates simply for those reasons. The experienced candidate came in with 3 or 4 years under her belt as far as teaching is concerned, but she could barely speak. She was timid. She showed no excitement for the position. And believe it or not, those things, simple as they are, make a huge difference. When you're in front of your peers and you have an opportunity to present to a small group, to another individual, to a large classroom, take advantage of that opportunity. The better you can speak in front of others and present yourself, it's all about your presence in an interview setting. So take advantage of that, students. Thank you.
So I guess in conclusion, just keep in mind all these things that we're saying. Practice a little bit. When you are in front of your friends, or you have an opportunity to speak, or when I ask for volunteers, like it's something today. And I'm sure Christine is the same. I could just talk about this all day long because I want you to all to be successful. And I know it's confusing where you're at now, and you're like, this doesn't really matter. It's almost the weekend. It's Wednesday, but it does matter. So if you just try the little things a little bit at a time. Hopefully I'll see you all in May. Hopefully you won't have any more snow days, because even though they're great, you want to be out of school before July. Again, if you need anything, you know how to reach me. Your counselors know how to reach me. And I just thank you all for coming. So, thank you.